Keith Schilling, Sherdog.com. I'm here with Mike Winkeljohn, one of the head coaches of the famous Jackson Winkeljohn team. We're here at Bellator 249. It's about to kick off about 6 hours from now. Coach is going to have a busy night as he's cornering two fighters. He's got Christian Edwards, who's taking on Hassan Salam. And, of course, in the main event, he has Arlene Blencowe, who's trying to pull off the big upset against featherweight champion Cris Cyborg. Coach, you got busy tonight. What's your thoughts on the overall card?
It should be great. It should be exciting. I hope everybody watches it. You know, Christian is, first off, Christian Edwards, he's one of our up-and-comers. I got nothing but belief in this young man. He's tall, lanky, light heavyweight that can strike like crazy. His wrestling's getting better every day, and that's why he's been working on the most. His elbows are incredible, and that's why I'm hoping people see a lot more of his elbow game coming out in this fight.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to apologize to anybody who's watching. If it's a little shaky, me and the coach are just walking through the hallway trying to get him real quick. Don't have a tripod, so I'm just kind of holding it, so I apologize if it's a little shaky. All right, so let's talk about Arlene first. So she's in the main event. Cris Cyborg is not going to be an underdog against many fighters. Not many people giving Arlene a chance. Obviously, your corner, you're probably giving her a great chance. So tell us, why do you believe that Arlene's going to pull off the victory?
Well, you know what, Arlene's very fast. We fought Cyborg with Holm, of course, so I know a little bit about Cyborg. She's incredible. She does what she does. She comes hard. She comes strong forward. She throws big punches. She's got good takedowns. She's great. Her top game is great. But Arlene's got speed. I think speed kills, and I think speed can make the difference in this fight. And I think Arlene can set a precedent and show people a lot of holes that Cyborg has with her speed. Arlene, she came to the gym, started training a little bit before, then COVID hit. Like everything, we all kind of messed up by this COVID thing, and she went home to Australia. And but she's been working with her coach, her main coach, James Tahuna, Tyson Pedro's been working with quite a bit, so she's got a good group of guys that have really been putting a lot of time and effort into her, and I'm just kind of honored to be there in the corner and help her out a little bit. I've been in the corner the last couple of fights, and nice young lady, works hard, extremely strong, and intelligent about the game, and I think that's what you're going to see is this young lady is smart.
So you just mentioned Holly Holm. Obviously, you were cornering her when she pulled off the biggest upset in female MMA history in Ronda Rousey. So what do you tell Arlene, who, if she wins, that might actually top Holly's upset? You have that experience. So what do you say to her?
Oh yeah, go for it. You know, today's the day. This is it. That she's been prepping for this her whole life. It's just go for it. Let it all hang out. You can't hold back. Usually, what happens with fighters is they overthink things and they're so worried about making a mistake they do nothing in that freezing type of moment. I mean, people have a tendency to fight, flight, or freeze, and freezing takes over so many people. But they just gotta let go. Just let go. Throw the kitchen sink at Cyborg when you're on the proper angles and see what happens. And I think she's gonna do real well.
Well, let's flip that. You got Christian Edwards, you're also cornering him. Now, he's in a completely opposite situation. He's not a veteran like Arlene is. He's a young up-and-comer. A lot of people are very excited about him. How do you feel about his matchup against Mr. Sullivan?
Well, you know what, his opponent's been to my gym before a little bit in the past. It's been a while. I don't remember a lot of it. I know he's real kick-heavy. Intelligent. What I remember about him is he was an intelligent guy. He'd probably be a great coach, and that his skill level is that way in his mind. The difference, I believe, is that Christian lets things go, like I was talking about with Arlene. Christian just has that switch in him. When he decides to go, he goes. He knocks people out. He lets his hands and his feet fly, and that's why I think Christian is going to make it to the top of the sport.
Speaking of top of the sport, one guy that is from your team that is obviously he's made it to the top of the sport. He's, in my opinion, the greatest fighter of all time. You obviously know I'm talking about Jon Jones. The reason I want to bring up Jon Jones is that's someone that Christian trains with, and Christian has instantly been compared to because they're in the same weight class, same team. Do you think those comparisons are fair, or does that add unfair pressure on him, or do you think that's kind of like builds his confidence that he can reach that level?
I think so. I think him and Jon have built a good rapport. Jon watched fight tape with him for this fight, and that does build a little bit of confidence when you know you have considered the best fighter in the world, helping you out and in your corner. I think comparison is good in many ways because Christian has a lot of those attributes that Jon Jones has, fights that way. But in the future, I told Christian you want to be Christian Edwards, not Jon Jones. You're going to be yourself. And people will say to the younger fighters, "Hey, you're like Christian Edwards," and that's my goal for Christian.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Just kind of this guy gets mentor that guy gets to mentor that one, and so on. So let's talk about I'd get killed if I didn't ask you about Jon Jones. Jon Jones been very active on Twitter. He recently relinquished his title at light heavyweight, and made many believe that he's going up to heavyweight. I want to talk about the light heavyweight real quick. Yamovich just won the title. As soon as he won the title, Jon Jones said, maybe I'll go back and take that title. How do you feel like about that match? Is that something you want to see Jon do, to go back and get his title, or would you rather see him move up to heavyweight?
All depends. Jon's been lifting weight, so he's putting a little bit of weight on. Jon's always made an easy time with weight cuts, so he can be back down light heavyweight pretty quickly if he wants to. It's all about what motivates Jon. When Jon's motivated, he comes to fight. When he's not motivated, that's when he's had his little closer fights. So Jon is he's an anomaly that way, in that he's a gigantic student of the game. He studies his fighters, but when he's motivated, he finds a way to win, and it's pretty cool to have him in our camp.
One of the things I asked you about, many people believe that he's moving up to heavyweight. There's some debate on should Jon get an instant title shot. I'll be honest. I mean, how can you tell the greatest fighter of all time he doesn't deserve an instant title shot? I'm assuming you're in that camp, or you think?
I definitely think Stipe is the fight for him right now. I think take the title. I think Jon's at the place where he's proved himself at light heavyweight. There's not a lot else to prove. So there's if you win the fight, you're great. If you lose the fight, you lose everything. So I think there's no reason to take that risk without the reward, and the reward would be take the heavyweight title and continue your legacy. That's where I would like to see Jon go.
Coach, I know you're really busy, so I'm going to ask you one final question, and you've already been very gracious with your time. The other person that Jon has been really bickering with is Israel Adesanya, the UFC middleweight champion. Jon saying, sign the contract, let's get it done. If the UFC came to you, and I know they don't do that, but they came to you and they said, Stipe or Israel, which one would you tell Jon to take?
Oh, I would. I think they're both good fights. I think Stipe is the way to go because it's the heavyweight fight. I think that's moving up. That continues Jon's legacy. I think there's no way Izzy's gonna be able to fight Jon. He's too small. When Jon beats him, they'll say, well, he's small. Of course you beat him. But beating the heavyweight, that's a neat thing. I think that's a neat thing. I think Izzy's dangerous, but it's too small. Jon would just take him down the mall and just elbow him and stuff. I think at this point, it's going to take Izzy some time to get that kind of weight on to defend those type of game plan in the cage.
Coach, good luck tonight, and thank you for your time.
All right, thanks.